Here's the response of Walekoum, Esalaam. Peace be with you. Thank you so much again to all those who are here tonight. This is the second portion of the Community People's Forum, and our focus here is now on the congressional race. Both candidates were invited. Tonight we are joined by the DFL nominee for 1st District Congress, Dan Feehan. We had invited Jim Hagedorn, who was the GOP nominee. He declined because of scheduling. With that, we'll begin the second portion here with Dan Feehan. Please welcome Dan.
Dan, I think that's a route of support right there. So do you want to just start by introducing yourself for people that don't know and talk about your platform, and just general information, and then I'll go into specific questions.
Hey, good evening. I know I'm just joining you here, but thank you for taking part in this. Thank you for having an active voice in determining the future of not just Rochester, but of southern Minnesota and our country as well. And if I have not had the chance to meet you, my name is Dan Feehan, and I am running for Congress here, hoping for the honor to represent southern Minnesota in the U.S. House of Representatives in Washington. I live in North Mankato. I've got 2 little boys there. I've got a 3rd grader and a preschooler there, and I grew up in Red Wing. And I grew up with a sense of what I still believe southern Minnesota is today. It is a place where people depend on each other. It's a place where people take care of each other, and it's a place where even in spite of agreements and disagreements along the way, people still are able to get things done on behalf of people. And I believe that is a value that is alive today. It's a value that has taken me into a life of public service. I joined the Army after September 11th, 2001, and fought 2 tours in Iraq, searching for roadside bombs and trying to capture insurgents. When I came back home, I became a middle school math teacher in Gary, Indiana. And I have this unique experience of knowing what it's like to be in front of a group of soldiers and middle schoolers. And it's an important distinction, but the energy it takes to be in front of middle schoolers is unparalleled out there. Both of these experiences are what inform both my run for Congress and my approach to policy making. And it's the idea that policy is a matter of life and death in ways, in war, in a public school classroom, but in healthcare, in all these different ways. Because what happens in Washington, D.C., and more importantly, what fails to happen in Washington, D.C. has a direct impact on people's lives, for better and oftentimes for the worse along the way. And my spirit of running for Congress, I had a unique experience to try to make federal policy in the Pentagon. And it was very difficult, but I was able to do so in the same way I did as a soldier and as a teacher, working with people in spite of disagreement. But it was the U.S. Congress that was very difficult to work with. It was a place where there is partisan bickering every day and people who are beholden to corporate special interests. And that prevents things from changing. And so being in my home, the place that raised me in the value of public service, and running for Congress is with the belief that we deserve a better politics. That we deserve a politics that is based on service, because politics is service. In the same sense that my service to the military or as a teacher, I view it the same way. Because I represented and served every soldier I led, every student I led, and I intend to represent all of southern Minnesota. That's the idea. I'm not seeking power, I am seeking responsibility. Because the challenges that we have, and we get a chance to talk about a lot of them today, are significant. And they're the challenges of healthcare, they're the challenges of the costs of life today, and they're challenges of fear, and the way that many people feel fearful in their everyday existence. No one deserves to live in fear, no one deserves to feel less because of not having healthcare, or because of working harder than ever and not getting ahead. And I believe what can happen in Washington, D.C. is that we can achieve a culture change. And I hope to be a part of that, where Congress becomes a functional body of government because it is independent voices that are there, that aren't beholden to corporations or to party leadership, but are putting the people that they represent first. And that's what I hope I have the chance to do. So I hope to earn your support on November 6th, but if you don't vote for me, that's okay too, because I hope to still represent you and have your voice at the table along the way.
Awesome. So we'll just go into immigration. You talked about the political climate. So right now, obviously, the political climate has been very challenging for immigrants and minority communities. And one notable example is in respect to DACA. So can you share your thoughts on DACA, and what will you do to make sure that young people with DACA status will finally